Tell me about a time you handled a difficult situation.
Richard, what is an example of a difficult situation at work? Well, here's a couple of examples to help you. It might be where you experienced conflict between you and a co-worker, and you were the one who took it upon yourself to resolve the situation. Another example could be conflict between other team members, and you got involved to resolve it for them. It might be problems with customer service that you had to handle, or it could be difficulty in deciding on an idea for a team project. So how do you structure your answer to the question, how did you handle a difficult situation? My advice is to use the brilliant technique which is called STAR.
S stands for situation, clearly explaining the situation that you were in. T stands for task. A stands for action. And then R stands for results. So let's look at a sample answer to tell me about a time you handled a difficult situation.
Here's example number 1.
I encountered a situation in my previous position as a business analyst. I had the privilege of working with a client that was gregarious, full of energy, and very eager to make things happen. The only problem is that the client didn't have a clear goal or vision of what they really wanted. This led to frustration and a whole lot of misunderstanding. Using a technique called I'll know it when I see it, I was able to elicit, analyze, and document ideas that the client hadn't considered before. After some powerful brainstorming sessions, we developed a solution that the client was over the moon with. And in the end, we received 3 other referrals from this one client.
Let's take a look at another example.
During my previous job at a call center for XYZ Telecom, I took a call from a really irate customer who was demanding to speak to my manager. And that was even before I had asked her about what the problem she was experiencing was. I tried to get her to tell me as much as she could about the issue that she was experiencing. She was really angry. She told me that she'd already spoken to 4 other customer service representatives who just kept putting her on hold and bouncing her back and forth between one department and another. Everyone she had spoken to so far had asked her to explain the issue right from the beginning again, no matter how many times she had done it. And no one seemed to be trying to solve this issue. They just wanted to pass it along to the next person. She said something like, you guys are absolutely incompetent. There was a lot of anger in her words. There was a lot of cursing, actually, when she was describing her experiences with previous call representatives. Eventually, she told me that she either needed to talk to my manager now or she wanted to cancel her service immediately, and she'd be writing a really negative review, bad review for our company everywhere she possibly could on the internet. And she was very vehement and determined about that. I immediately realized that this customer had somehow slipped through the cracks of our usually pretty effective system, but I wasn't sure why. I had guessed that it had something to do with the nature of her problem that she was experiencing. Maybe it was something that just wasn't very typical and was confusing a lot of the representatives. The thing was that our company had a really strict policy that we were not allowed to escalate a situation to our manager almost ever. They really did not like to get involved if they could and really pushed back on us to take care of things as much as we possibly could. Now, I was fine with this policy because I enjoyed trying to solve problems and doing my best to get to those solutions. But it was difficult because she really demanded that she talk to somebody besides me. Nonetheless, I made a decision that I was not going to be yet another representative that just passed her to somebody else. But really, I decided to work to resolve her issue no matter what, even if it took a number of days where I was going to follow up with her and make sure that things got solved. I knew I had to gain her trust, and so I said to her, "Ma'am, from what I understand, everyone so far that you've talked to has been pretty much ignoring you and your problem, the issues you're experiencing. So I promise that I will do everything in my power to get help for this issue and get this resolved. And if I can't do it myself, I promise to follow up on your case until someone else has helped to resolve this issue." By validating her frustrations and letting her know that, this time would be different, her anger really started to disappear. She started to open up. She then began to explain the issues that she was dealing with her internet. She told me that her internet connectivity had been really spotty for the past few weeks. And so I asked her, at this moment, how is it? And she was frustrated, of course, and she said, well, right now it's fine. Every time I talk to you guys, it starts to work. But, that won't last long It'll probably break again right after we get off the phone. This is what always happens. Now, getting that answer, my normal protocol would have been to just send her to our technical support team since she wasn't experiencing a problem at the moment, and just have them basically start all over with her again. I just didn't want to do this. I decided that I was not going to get off the line with her until she felt confident that we had done everything possible to fix this problem. So I asked her if it would be okay if I invited her technical representative to join the call, but assured her that I would remain on the line until we figured things out. And she was okay with that. We were able to invite a technical representative on to help us diagnose the issue, and began to ask her a number of questions about the modem setup, when she set it up. Well, it turned out through the conversation that she had actually moved the modem about 3 weeks before to a completely different room using a long cable. So, we had discovered something that she had neglected to tell me earlier and neglected to tell anyone else before talking to me. The technical representative asked if she could move the modem back to the original location, and she said she could. So we waited, and she was able to do that within a short amount of time. After she moved it back, the technical representative was able to retest the modem, where he immediately saw that the signal was back to normal ranges. And so he suspected that we had indeed fixed her issue. Okay, so finally, let's finish this example with the results. So we let her know that we thought we had fixed the issue, and after she felt the same, she basically saw that, maybe this was an issue, she repeatedly began to express gratitude for our help. Her whole demeanor changed with us. After the tech rep got off the line, she then thanked me again and even complimented me on my willingness to stick around until the problem was actually solved. Rewarding for me was that she actually let me know that she planned to write a positive review for our company because of the great customer service that she'd received from me. So I was really happy about that.
Let's take a look at another example.
In my last position, I recognized that our freelance budget was not being used properly, resulting in dozens of hours of overtime for freelance work every week. To reach our lofty goals for the quarter, our marketing budget needed to be tightened. To solve this overpayment, I took stock of all the freelance jobs we had given in the past 6 months. I noticed that certain freelancers' work outperformed others by a large margin. I created a report to bring to my manager on which freelance workers were performing best. With this report, I created a plan to hire the highest performing freelancers for monthly repeatable work. In this way, they were familiar with the brand, the task, and they had real ownership in the results, which helped out our marketing initiative greatly. In addition, the main goal of reducing our marketing budget was also achieved, as I reduced it by 22%.
Let's take a look at another example.
Tell me about a time when you handled a difficult situation.
I experienced a difficult situation when I first started working in a previous role. I was part of a team meeting, and a more experienced member of the team was dismissive of my suggestions. So every time I put a suggestion forward, he would dismiss it out of hand straight away, not even explore it, and then carry on and move on to someone else. So this happened on a number of occasions. It happened on 3 occasions actually, so I decided to do something about it. This was a difficult situation because I didn't want any conflict in the team. I wanted to work with everybody, but I also wanted to contribute to the team, so I felt I needed to tackle this difficult situation. So I spoke to them in private, and I gave them 3 examples of where I'd felt uncomfortable when they'd been dismissive about my suggestions, and I asked them why. I just said, why do you feel the need to be dismissive? Again, they were quite taken aback by what I said, and they apologised straight away, and from that day forward, they then involved me more in conversations during the team meetings, and I was able to contribute as I wanted to. And my manager asked for a volunteer to work on a project with that person a few weeks later on, and I put my hand up straight away because I felt that way I could build up a really good relationship with them, and we actually became really good friends both in work and outside of work. So I was pleased that I dealt with that difficult situation, because obviously the easy thing to do is just to leave it, but I would always tackle a difficult situation with confidence, because then I believe the team will benefit from that moving forward.
So those are a few examples of how you might handle a difficult situation. So what does the hiring manager or the interviewer want to hear in your response? Well, they want to hear 3 things. First of all, they want to hear that you took action to resolve the problem or the situation. You have to show that you are capable of taking action. The second thing they want to hear is that you thought logically about the situation you were in. So there was a thought process to your solution to the problem. And then finally, they want to hear that you achieved a successful outcome yourself.